And formally welcome everyone to our weekly call. And apologies, by the way, for the last minute postponement last week. I had an unexpected challenge thrown at me, which turned out to be a false alarm, but had to hurriedly take my wife to be attended to. But to say, it worked out well in the end, and thank you for various people for sort of positive messages in the interim. So hopefully those of you that had planned to join the call were able to put the unexpected extra hour to good use. Okay, right, let's start properly then. So let me share my screen, which you should now hopefully be able to see. So call this week with the main subject for the call. We're going to talk a little bit about the sort of forthcoming DNS-OARC meeting, as well as the accompanying meetings from ICANN, which I'll come back to in a moment. Then, as always, I just touch on some of the sort of recent sort of news headlines, etc. Remind you some of the forthcoming events, future short call topics, and anything else that anyone wishes to raise. I suspect we will have a little bit of time on the call this week. I'm looking at the participant list. I don't think anyone from the OARC team on, so it's possible that someone may join partway through, in which case I will hand over to them. But I'll start to talk about OARC, and we'll see where that takes us. So just a little bit of a recap. So OARC 41 takes place in the first week of September, so it's only a few weeks' time, hence we're doing the call this week. It's accompanied by two ICANN events, the sort of annual DNS Symposium and also a DNS Abuse Day. So given that OARC's 2 days, the other two events are both a day each. So it's 4 days in total, running from Monday the 4th of September through to the 7th. So 4th is the DNS day on DNS abuse, 5th is the ICANN DNS Symposium, and then the 6th and 7th are the 2 days for OARC. It takes place in Da Nang in Vietnam, at the Melia Da Nang Beach Resort, which, as you may have seen from the picture on the previous page, looks like an extremely nice hotel. And for any of us that are staying at the hotel, it's just walking distance, obviously, to the conference facilities within the hotel. All of this, obviously, is all of this information is available on the OARC website, although ultimately you register, in fact, with ICANN, because there's no registration fee to attend either remotely or in person for any of these 4 days of DNS themed events. Although obviously if you're there on site, then you do have to pay for travel and accommodation costs, but certainly not for any registration fee. And it's a single registration via the ICANN page for all 3 events overall. You may well need to have a visa to attend, so which you can certainly from the UK, and I think a good range of other countries you can do it electronically. It's quite quick, but if you are planning to go, don't leave it to the very last minute, because that might present you with logistics challenges in terms of doing the visa form, etc. I won't read through all this, but I'll share the slides afterwards. But the if you like, the lead event in many respects is the DNS Symposium. So I just took some text from the relevant ICANN page, and as you can see, the main theme that's planned for the DNS Symposium is around integration and security of the DNS with sort of emerging technology, etc. So that's the plan, but the agenda is not available yet, as today is the last day for people to put forward proposals for presentations. So I guess the agenda will be wrapped up, hopefully, in the next week or so. But as I say, I'll share this page should it be of interest to you. Anyway, on to the event, the OARC event. What I've done is just to capture the sort of the relevant agenda sort of details from the OARC site. There is additional detail. You can click on the relevant presentations to sort of drill down into more detail. But I thought I'd just highlight a few things that caught my eye, and then I'll pause to see if there's anything from anyone else that's going that you want to call out. And when I checked just now, I think there's something like 70 odd people so far are registered to attend in person, and around another 30 I think to join remotely. So I think it was around 100 people thus far are registered for the OARC event. I'm not sure if all of those are registered for all three events. I suspect, certainly for the in-person people, they probably are, but there may well be additional people that are just registered for the ICANN events. Anyway, just a couple of observations from day one of OARC, which is Wednesday the 6th. And I've put some sort of box sort of highlighted, I don't know if my cursor's showing up, but some highlighting on some of the sessions. So there are a number of DNSSEC sessions on the first day. So that didn't work, sorry. So just before lunch, so the bottom two slots on the left hand side of the screen, and then sort of the first two I've highlighted after lunch, and all of the presentations I think are being sort of given by people in person. I think that was one of the stipulations for presentations for OARC. It's all in-person presentations this time around. So there's sort of 4 DNSSEC themed sessions on the agenda, which I thought worth highlighting, given that DNSSEC has come up a few times on here in terms of ease of provisioning, etc. So that's obviously very much a theme for OARC. And in addition, the other two that caught my eye, one of the first ones of the day, Meta's DNS snooping utility, DNS-OARC, you'll see has got sort of 15 minutes on the agenda introducing DNS-OARC, which I think will be interesting to see. And also the last session on the Wednesday, which is an update on DNS for EU from Robert Seffer from Whalebone, which would be good to hear how far the Whalebone team and consortia have got in the roughly 9 months by the time we get to OARC, since the grant was a confirmation of the grant award from the European Commission was made. See how far they've got with the development and deployment of the DNS4 EU resolver for Europe. But it was mainly the DNSSEC sessions plus the Meta DNS-OARC and DNS4 EU that caught my eye on the first day. So I'm looking forward to all of those. I just pause there in case Anyone else that's going has got any other things to point out? So just pause for a moment to see if you do, if I've missed anything, or if you've got anything to add, feel free to do so. And I can see Peter in the chat. Yeah, who knows whether that be part of the presentation, but you'd see whether Meta have spun up their own public DNS servers. They must have capacity for it, you would have thought. Anyway, I'm guessing that no one else has got anything to add, so let me just move on to day two. Sort of less things for me on day two. One was I continue the DNSSEC theme. We've got a presentation from Internet New Zealand on a DNSSEC incident. And also, I think what's going to be pretty interesting, a presentation on coordinating DNS resolvers and queries into potent denial of service amplifiers. I think I've seen variations on a theme, not specifically on that, but sort of related topics over the last several years. So it'll be interesting to see what Sue King has to say. Zhang Li rather has to say on that particular topic, because as I say, that has come up several times. The other session I've highlighted, because it's usually good value in terms of interest, are the to be confirmed in-person lightning talks, to see what topics come up. I think usually it's about 10 minutes or so is allowed, so there should be time for about sort of 2, 3, maybe 4 lightning talks on the day on more ad hoc topics. So it should be interesting to see. And I can see in the chat while we're talking that Emily has indicated that I presume under the auspices of the DNS Research Federation, you're planning to publish a big study on DNS abuse rates across the global TLDs, so that will be quite timely if that comes out around the time of OARC. I was going to say, Emily, that could lend itself to a lightning talk, but as per your caveat, you're not planning to be there in person, so maybe not, but which is a pity, otherwise it would have been a good topic.
I think we might just put in an application to see if we can do a talk remotely, even though, I mean, because it would be the ICANN meeting rather than the DNS-OARC, wouldn't it? I think.
Oh yeah, yes, very good point. So
think
the other
so.
Monday.
We'll just see what happens, but
Yeah.
we will be talking about it at Eco webinar, and I think Alex Deacon, who's one of the report co-authors, has had a go ahead to talk about it at the Brooklyn meeting of Morg, which is happening in early October. So it'll be out and about, and so I'll definitely let this group know when we've finally published it. Trying to get it out today, but you know how it is. All right, thanks very much.
And I've no idea, by the way, I don't think ICANN have said anything about in-person or remote presentations, at least not that I'm aware of. So, yeah. And I think today is the last day, certainly for the DNS Symposium, and presumably also to submit topics for the DNS Abuse Day as well, although I've not looked at that in so much detail, to be fair. Anyway, so those were the 3 things that caught my eye on day 2. Again, I'll just pause and see again, in particular from anyone else that's going to be attending in person in Da Nang, whether there's anything on the agenda that caught your respective eyes, if you've had a chance to look at it in detail as yet. I'll take that as probably a no. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully, as I said, we should see a lot more come to light on the ICANN events over the next sort of, well, a couple of weeks, possibly even this week, although as a closing date for the symposium for proposals is only today. This week might be a stretch, but given we are only a couple of weeks out, or 3 weeks out from the event, it will need to be quite soon when the additional detail is made available. So unless anyone else has got, sorry, just seen Josh. Yes, ICANN does generally, I wouldn't say for all of its events, but certainly for its big events, it does record and make the recordings available, as well as copies of slides, etc. So I presume that will be also be true for this event. I don't know if anyone knows any different. If you do, please put something in the chat. But certainly for all their large scale events, they do certainly make materials available. I'm pretty sure from previous years for the DNS Symposium that's true as well, I think, but I wouldn't swear to it. I'll make a note, because I had been trying to get the DNS, the ICANN sort of people on this call, but they're on holiday this week, so I will drop them a line to ask to see if that is indeed the case. I'll put that with the link to the recording, etc. When it's all sort of uploaded either today or tomorrow. So give you a more official answer then, if I can, Josh. Okay, all right. Well, let's move on then. Give you just some of the news headlines. Rather less topical stuff caught my eye this week. It's almost as though it's the holiday season. Who knew? But no, seriously, not a huge amount. So there was yet another, I was going to say malware. So the information on malware. To be fair, if I've understood this isn't malware as such. This is an exploit that's been sort of developed and tested by researchers. The Maginot DNS attack. So it's not something that I believe that's been found by researchers. It's something that they've actually found for themselves. And I see, as we're chatting, Peter's put a paper on it in the chat as well. Thanks, Peter. So that may well be of interest. Also on security, you see VeriSign updated or are in the process of updating their DNSSEC algorithm, and in fact Dwayne will be giving a presentation on that very topic during OARC next month. So if you're interested in that, you can read the article. You can hear firsthand from Dwayne as well if you attend OARC either in person or remotely. Couple other things, just the one I mentioned, DNS-OARC, Jeff Houston even, pronounce his name as he prefers, of APNEC, put together a sort of write-up of his take on the discussions at the DNS-OARC working group session at ITF 117 a couple of weeks ago. Obviously recordings of the proceedings are available, as are the notes, etc. But I'm sure Jeff will provide quite a thoughtful sort of augmentation to the official materials, if you will. And that was pretty much it in terms of headlines that I spied. I'll come back to ask people in a moment if there's anything that you picked up that I missed. A few other things that caught my eye that are not specifically related to DNS, etc. Various sort of topical things. of interest, all largely policy related, with one exception, which I'll just call out that one. So the third one down, AWS have started to charge. I'm not sure if they've actually started yet. But they've certainly announced their intent to charge for public IPv4 usage. IPv6 is not charged for. So that's very much a clear statement of intent. I'd be interested to see if others follow suit in due course. But given the rumoured exhaustion or near exhaustion of IPv4 addresses, that's not a huge surprise. There's a good way of perhaps trying to sort of match demand and supply. Okay, in terms of calls for papers, workshop proposals, etc., I've said this a couple of times now, but just in case you missed it, in garish yellow, you'll see that today is the deadline for any papers or proposals for presentations at the ICANN DNS Symposium. Send a one-paragraph description of the proposed topic to the email address on the screen. And you've got until close today, I believe, to do so. And then later on this month, or the end of this month, NANOG 89 deadline is the 28th, as you'll see. And at the very end of the month, on the 30th, call for papers from the DNS Research Federation. So Emily and colleagues have asked for proposals where there is potential funding available to support sort of development activities. If Emily is still on, without putting you on the spot, if you want to say anything on that, in case that's of interest to anyone, feel free to unmute if you're able to.
Yeah, thank you very much for the shout out, Andrew. Yes, you may recall that we were successful in getting a substantial grant from the Internet Society Foundation to establish our standards observatory, which is sort of got lots of different elements to it, such as tracking standards across 3 SDOs, IETF, some ITU study groups, and ETSI, and also commissioning some research. So this call for papers is part of that grant. We're very happy to do it, and in fact I can report that we've had quite a bit of interest, and also from scholars that we haven't, not in our immediate sort of circles. So that's been really exciting. So yes, just a plea to everybody on this call, if you can have a look at the call and distribute it to anyone you think might be doing research in this area, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily. And yes, I was chatting to someone the other day who from US Berkeley, I think, I wouldn't swear to that, a fellow anyway, a research fellow who was certainly intending to apply. So it certainly seems to have caught people's attention far and wide, which is a really good thing. So yeah, it'd be fascinating to see what work comes out of that funding. And then just for completeness, you'll see RIPE 87, middle of September, so a little time yet. You've got a month or so for any proposals you wish to submit for that. And then UK NOF is at the end of the deadline's the end of September, I believe, although there was a question about that, so I need to just check and sort of query that to make sure that is the right date. But anyway, a few things coming up if you wish to submit proposals for presentations. We've talked multiple times about the 4 events at the start of September, but you've seen them again on the screen. And then we get very much into the sort of a run of interesting events sort of through to end of November, early December. So I'll call out a few of them. You got the European Union or Commission's High Level Group on Internet Governance, At the end of September, early October, the Internet Governance Forum in Kyoto, which I think a number of us on this call will be attending, along with a bunch of other people. I think it's usually several thousand in-person attendees or thereabouts. Then we got, again, jumping over a few things, ITF in Prague will be on us before we know it in early November, and then towards the end of the calendar year, we've got RIPE in Rome. At the very end of November through to the 1st of December, and a whole lot of other stuff as well. Reminder also, in case you missed it, that ITF 119 will be in Brisbane in sort of middle of March. So if you missed that announcement, I suspect that if flights will be in better value if they're booked sooner rather than later for anyone that's planning to attend. I don't think that the hotel isn't announced yet, the conference hotel, but the conference venue is, because it's the Brisbane Convention Centre, and there is a whole bunch of hotels in the immediate vicinity of that. I know from a cursory look. So anyway, so various things coming up over the next few months. In terms of sort of topics for this call, the subject we were due to cover last week on DNS Resolver information, we will pick up next Monday, so that's on the agenda then. Haven't got anything currently scheduled for the last call of this month. We may well dip back in to talk about the ICANN DNS Symposium, because hopefully the agenda will have been finalised by then, so I might ask one of the team if they can come on then just to go through the highlights of that and the DNS Abuse Day for anyone that's interested. We won't do a call on the 4th of September because the time difference makes it a bit challenging versus Vietnam, but then we'll be sort of back onto the normal schedule, as you can see, from the second week of September onwards. And if there's any topics you want added, either for other people to do or indeed for yourselves to do, then just drop me a line and we can add those to the schedule as appropriate. And that was pretty much it from me. So let me stop sharing my screen. And ask whether does anyone else have anything to add to any of that, or indeed anything additional sort of, that it'd be useful to just sort of highlight whilst we're on the call today. And if you do, unmute, raise your hand, put something in the chat, whatever's easiest. So any burning topics from anyone? I'm not seeing any hands raised currently, but I'll just give you a minute or two to do that just in case. No, not seeing anything in the chat. No one's unmuted, so I'm assuming not. So yeah, final reminder then. So if you're planning to go to Da Nang and you haven't made your travel or other arrangements yet, don't leave it too much later. Otherwise, you might run out of time. And other than that, have a fantastic week, everyone, and look forward to catching up again this time next week when we talk about sort of DNS information with the two authors. So speak to you all then. Have a great week.
Weekend, week, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Andrew.
Bye.